I think Michel Franco's Dreams moves with the confidence of a film that believes its political prescience alone will be enough to carry its brisk 90-minute runtime. To me, it feels convinced that simply pointing at the fractures between the ultra-wealthy and undocumented immigrants is inherently dramatic. But I kept wondering whether that conviction was actually enough. At its center is a turbulent, deeply toxic romance between Jennifer, a wealthy arts philanthropist, and Fernando, a gifted young ballet dancer from Mexico City who trained at the academy funded by Jennifer's obscenely rich family. On paper, it's a sharp setup, intimacy colliding with class warfare. I didn't realize, though, how quickly the film would reduce this imbalance into something almost schematic. It wants to deconstruct the parasitic relationship between the 1% and undocumented immigrants, but to me, it does so with a kind of club-footed grace. Franco has never exactly been subtle. In New Order, he imagined a violent uprising from the perspective of the bourgeoisie, and I remember thinking that while it was brutal, its politics felt murky at best. Here, his intentions seem clearer. And yet, filtering this story through the perspective of a white woman dripping in generational wealth creates an emotional distance the film never quite overcomes. Even with Jessica Chastain gliding through scenes in a parade of exquisite gowns, there's very little genuine intrigue. By the time the film reaches its shockingly cruel finale, I felt it had flattened its own socio-political ambitions into something disappointingly blunt. Jennifer and Fernando's affair is built on imbalance. There's a significant age gap, an even more staggering wealth gap, and a sexual dynamic fueled by playful but unmistakable power games. Their relationship survives largely because Jennifer can hop on a private jet under the pretense of visiting the Mexico City Academy. Fernando, meanwhile, can only see her in the shadows. He's already been deported once, from New York in 2013, and his presence in her world must remain secret. Whether it's love, lust, or opportunism driving him, I'm honestly not sure the film wants us to know. Fernando risks everything. He crosses through Texas and hitchhikes his way to San Francisco just to surprise her. That gesture should feel romantic or tragic. Instead, it feels like a narrative device waiting to be punished. When he realizes Jennifer's affection extends only as far as her ability to hide him from her elite social circle, he breaks things off. What follows is a chain of plot contrivances that lands him improbably in consideration for a lead role at the San Francisco Ballet. Jennifer, a woman unaccustomed to losing anything, least of all a man, spirals. She runs her foundation alongside her brother Jake, funded by their father Michel. Publicly, the McCarthy Foundation champions the underprivileged. Privately, Jake resents helping those who aren't American. Jennifer, for all her supposed empathy, relies on voice-to-chat translation when speaking to Mexicans, a detail that feels both pointed and painfully on the nose. I kept thinking, maybe I am wrong, but the film seems less interested in exploring her contradictions than in exposing them as spectacle. There is something refreshing about Franco's directness. He wastes no time. The film moves linearly, scene to scene, hammering home the argument that the rich only value immigrants when they can exploit or control them. But that same efficiency becomes its limitation. The commentary isn't just clear, it's glaring. It's as if the film doesn't trust us to see the imbalance unless it underlines it in red. What makes it stranger is how extreme and oddly small the story feels at the same time. Most undocumented immigrants will never interact with someone as wealthy as Jennifer. By choosing such an exaggerated pairing, Franco aims to dramatize the outer edges of the class spectrum. But the result, to me, feels preposterous rather than piercing. That doesn't make Dreams a waste of time. I think it's engineered for recognition, the knowing nod, the grim acknowledgement of inequality, rather than deep reflection. Watching Chastain sweep through San Francisco and Mexico City, adorned in Chanel jewelry and Yves Saint Laurent bags, escorted by an Escalade, while Fernando trudges through muddy Texas marshland, is certainly a stark visual contrast. But it's so blunt, it borders on crass. Even the final sequence, which seems designed to crystallize Franco's outrage, left me questioning the coherence of his ideas. If the American dream is now more ironic relic than attainable promise, then exposing that hypocrisy should feel urgent. Instead, Eve's Cape's camera observes this bizarre, almost grotesque romance with a cold detachment.